Hey, what's up guys? John here. Do you want to know what's going to happen in 2024 with clear, verifiable facts? Look at Amazon, look at what Walmart's doing, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, and of course Ray Dalio, and some others. Even names such as Ken Griffin, the CEO of Citadel, who made $4 billion last year, the highest paid hedge fund manager in the world. They're all doing the same exact thing. They're all doing the same thing. The media is telling us one thing is happening, but all the deep pockets are doing something else. I'm going to show you clearly what they're doing so you can make smart, forward-thinking decisions going into this uncertain world so you can capitalize on these trends and you could put yourself in a really strong position because 99% of people won't. I'm going to break it down for you. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate more people about what's really going on. And if you want to fix your credit, you want to position yourself for the greatest wealth transfer of all time, which we're in right now. It started in 2020. It's going to ramp up dramatically in 2024 and 2025. You're going to need exceptional credit to get financing. If you want to buy a car, if you want to invest in distressed real estate, start a business, grow a business, you're going to need access to money. And with average or bad credit, the odds of that happening are zero. So go to greatcreditfast.com, book a free strategy session, see how we can help you. One late payment can drop your credit score upwards of 180 points. Don't let a late payment or charge-off, medical bill, collection, foreclosure, repossession, one or a few small issues get in the way of your future. Go to greatcreditfast.com. Take a look at this. So personal savings in the U.S. peaked at $2.1 trillion during the pandemic and has fallen sharply. Now, there's about $190 billion in personal savings remaining, down 91% from the peak. Since 2022, household savings have declined by $100 billion a month. By the end of the quarter, excess savings in the U.S. is expected to be depleted, zero. Debt levels are going to soar. It's crazy. And we go from 2.1 trillion to 190 billion, just like that. Well, look at what's happening. I'm going to show you what's happening first and kind of show you how all of this pushes and translates directly into what the wealthy are doing. So USDA.gov, right? This is on their website, USDA.gov. They say that food prices are going to rise 5.9% this year. 5.9% this year. Well, they also say, inflation's 3%, 4%. Many people, when they pay their bills, their expenses, their grocery bills, they see inflation at 15 or 20%. So if they're saying 5.9%, use your imagination to what that's actually going to look like. Food prices, everything's going to continue to rise. So if everything's going to continue to rise and savings are going down, consumer credit card debt is going to continue to rise with it, right? And right now we're at just over $1 trillion in credit card debt. Well, the average interest rate on a credit card right now is 24.37%. For context, in 2008, 2009, during the great financial crisis, average credit card interest rates, 12%. Right, 12%. So on a 12% interest rate, a $10,000 balance, it's $3,484 in interest paid, 65 months to pay it off, right? Now, with a 24% interest rate, some people would think, hey, that's just going to mean $7,000 in interest and twice as long to pay it off. But the reality is, it's $22,000 in interest. So going from $3,400 in interest at 12% to $22,000 in interest, and it would take 155 months to pay it off, paying $210 a month for 155 months. Do the math on that. It's absolutely crazy. And as everything's continuing to rise, 17 million Americans are opting out of going with home insurance to try to save money, to cut costs, right? And about half make under 40 grand a year. So if disaster strikes, they are done. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Look at Hurricane Idalia. Right now, they're estimating between 12 and $20 billion in damages. Estimate the cost of damages and economic disruption between 12 and 20 billion. So as that's happening, everything's going to continue to rise. You're going to start seeing more of the Hurricane Hillary type of situation, Idalia situation, and all these different, events that are happening right now that are, going to be absorbed by insurance companies and pushed onto consumers. So we're going to see more people opting out of car insurance, home insurance. We're going to start seeing people, just trying to cut costs every which direction they can. Auto insurance already is up 17%. And all of this factors into what they're doing. So as that's happening, oil prices are continuing to rise. So average car payment right now is $733 a month. Oil prices, gas prices are going up, insurance going up, everything's going up. And so as that's happening, student loan debt is going to be due October 1st, and it's already accruing interest now. That's for 17% of all adults. 17% of all adults in America. The average balance, $503 a month. So as that is also happening, Jerome Powell is saying that inflation is too high and warns that we're prepared to raise rates further. So how does this all connect? Well, it connects beautifully with what they're doing. So right now, they're predicting, or they're saying that U.S. faces a $2 trillion corporate debt wall. $2 trillion corporate debt wall. So here's what that means. The impending corporate debt wall, more than $2 trillion, is about to impact the U.S. economy over the next 2 years, according to Goldman Sachs. The bank warned in a note that higher interest expense tied to refinancing U.S. corporate debt will lead to a reduction in capital expenditures and the loss of about $5,000 per month in 2024, and that figure could double to $10,000 a month in 2025. Per month, right? 10,000 jobs per month, should interest rates remain elevated at their current levels. If interest rates remain high, companies will need to devote a greater share of their revenue to cover higher interest expense if they refinance their debt at the higher rates, said Goldman Sachs chief economist. We find that each additional dollar of interest expense, firms lower their capital expenditures by 10 cents and labor costs by 20 cents. The U.S. Federal Reserve began hiking rates in early 2022. U.S. companies benefited immensely from the period of low interest rates, according to Bank of America. The debt composition of Standard & Poor's companies included as many as 76% long-term fixed debt, which was secured at single-digit rates. But U.S. interest rates now 5.25% and 5.5%, and potentially set to go higher. Still, as the Fed continues to combat inflation risk, and grow more pronounced, especially over the next 2 years. So, what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen. Look at what Walmart's doing right now. Walmart and Amazon streamline staff and cost cutting, right, and automation efforts. Well, despite Walmart's better than expected earnings results, Reuters reported earlier this week that mega retailers asking 16,000 pharmacists nationwide to voluntarily cut hours in an effort to conserve margins. According to the article, possible offers range from reducing 80-hour 2-week work period to 64 to 72 hours, even as Walmart ramps up its pharmacy services. This comes as Walmart laid off nearly 2,000 workers dedicated to fulfilling e-com orders earlier this year. The drive may stem less from short-sighted revenue crunch and more from Walmart's public long-term push towards automation. So you start to think of what's going to happen here. If consumers have less money, they have less savings, they're putting more on credit card debt, everything is getting much, much more expensive. Consumers are going to want to demand that increase through their employer, right? They're going to want more money. And so they're going to start jumping from not just 1 or 2 jobs, but 3 jobs, 4 jobs. They're going to look every which way to make money. And companies are going to see, hey, consumers have less money to spend to support our business. We need to reduce our cost. So they're looking at it from 2 ways. 1, employers are going to want more, and 2, customers are going to spend less. And so what are they going to do? They're going to push towards automation. That's what's going to happen. We're witnessing this massive push towards automation. I mean, they're talking about in the media, oh, you should work 4 days a week, 4-day work week. They're pushing all of this. They've been doing this for a while, saying the Great Resignation, quit your job, you deserve more money. This big automation push is going to change the entire economy. And so if you are a business owner and you're looking at these changes, there's going to be opportunity. There's going to be opportunity. Whether we like this or we don't like this, our opinions mean nothing. A lot of people have had a lot of opinions over the last 3 years. What did that mean to anybody? Nothing. Nothing changed. Everything just remained going in the direction in which it was set to go in the first place. And that's what's ultimately going to happen going forward. I believe what we're going to start to see is a lot of companies downsizing office space dramatically. I think we're going to start to see a lot of cost cutting. And I think we're going to see a lot of restructuring of U.S. business, both small and large. We're going to see outsourcing of talent at levels in which we've never seen before. Everything that we know, that it's about to change. Everything that we know is about to change. And so when you look at it from a finance perspective and you look at what banks are doing, banks are holding a lot of losses right now. I mean, $1.8 trillion in losses. And so you think about this. How can consumers afford today's, rents, today's expenses, their $733 average car payment, with increased insurance, increased gas prices, if wages are likely going to start to become compressed, right? How are they going to be able to afford this big house if wages start to become compressed? Think about it. If they start issuing mass layoffs, it's going to be a race to the bottom for jobs, right? People are going to be desperate for jobs. So I think we're going to see a complete overhaul of this economy. And I think with it, we're going to see massive amounts of wealth that could be made or lost based on paying attention to what's happening right now. What do you think about this situation? Do you think Amazon, if they're going to streamline, pharmacy workers, what do you think is going to happen to fast food? What do you think is going to happen to retail? What do you think is going to happen with a lot of service jobs, right? A lot of these jobs are going to get restructured. No doubt about it. You go to a coffee shop, let's say, for example, you're running a coffee shop. You have 3 baristas, they all want $17, $18 an hour. You have increased insurance and utility prices. You got to pay a manager. I mean, before you know it, you start doing the numbers, you got to pay 15, 20 grand a month just to run a coffee shop, right? Then if you have a competitor next door that's saying, hey, you know what, we're going to run this, with automation, and we're only going to have 1 employee, 1 manager, and everything's going to be done, through, digital kiosk, and everything's going to go through a system, and the drink's going to be made, and it's going to be put at the end. Like that business is going to win, 10 times out of 10, right? And that's what's going to happen. We're going to start seeing a lot more of that push, and it's going to gradually start now. Crazy times. What do you think about it? Drop below, hit the like button, add me on IG. And if you want to fix your credit, you want to position yourself for this, because it's going to get harder to get financing, I promise you. It's going to get harder to get financing as debts start to, people start to default on these debts. Go to greatcreditfast.com, greatcreditfast.com. If you have credit card debt, whatever you do not do this. $22,000 paid in interest at 24.37% when you can get access to 0% APR credit cards right now. 0% APR credit cards doing balance transfers. If you were to transfer this at 0% interest, I mean, you would end up, even, it's not going to let me do 0%, but 1%, you pay $200 in interest. I mean, and it goes from 49 months. You get out of debt fast, right? You get out of debt really, really, really fast if you're paying 0%. If you're paying somebody 20, 25% interest, the odds of getting out of debt, it's very low, right? It's very, very low. The debt is just going to continue to get worse. So if you want to fix your credit, you want to position yourself for this great wealth transfer, we'd love to help you at greatcreditfast.com. Book a free strategy session below. Catch you guys in the next video.